We have some pretty bad news here for President Trump. Take a look at this. Poll. Trump's approval rating makes him least popular first-year president on record. Oh, man. Now, I don't know exactly when records started, but I'm pretty sure it was around the time of FDR. So, that's a while ago. He's really, really disliked. So this is from an Associated Press NORC poll that was released on Saturday. Let me give you some of the numbers. So George W. Bush had an approval rating a year into his time in office of 85%. Now that's unusually high, but it's that high because 9/11 happened, and then typically what happens is whenever there's an attack on a country, the nation kind of rallies behind their own leader. So that explains why Bush was 85%. But there are other people who are really high as well. I mean, H.W. Bush, so the first Bush, 60% approval rating, about 60. Obama, 57%. That's pretty high. Clinton, 55%. Still pretty high. Reagan was about 50%. So that's where, I mean, you're talking about pretty much every president in the modern era either at 50% or a majority saying, we like him. We're going to give him a positive approval rating. What's Donald Trump's? 32%. Record low. In the history of polling, he's the least popular first-year president. That's amazing. And what's interesting is I don't know how you guys feel, but I certainly feel like that 32% is the most loud and aggressive 32% in the country. That they don't shut the fuck up about Trump. Oh, MAGA, he's the best president ever. He's great. He's amazing. Fake news, everything that's against him is fake news. The only things that's real are things that are pro-Trump. And Trump, of course, goes out there and all he does is make his own case and deny all the evidence of the opposite position. But like recently he tweeted a poll that had him at 45% approval rating. First of all, not even a majority, so why the fuck are you bragging? Second of all, he was fishing for the poll that had him at the highest numbers. Of course. And then, by the way, the next week, that own poll dropped down to like 41% or 42%. I think it was a Rasmussen poll. So, but 32%, oh my God, people despise this motherfucker, man. Record low. George W. Bush, when he left office, according to one poll, he had a 22% favorability rating. Now, you can see why that is. 2 wars on the credit card. By the way, illegal war in Iraq. The economy crashed. Seemed like he had no clue what the fuck he was doing because he didn't have any clue what the fuck he's doing. So he was down to 22%. I think Trump is going to bottom out just below that. I think Trump will finish at like 21% or 20%. But there's a certain block that'll never leave him. And it might be 20% of people who will never leave him. But 32%, damn, he plummeted fast. I mean, he was unpopular the day he won. The day he won, he had a low approval rating. He was under 50% the day he won. And that, by the way, that goes to show you something about Hillary Clinton, doesn't it? The most unpopular presidential candidate in history, Trump beat her. Her approvals were a little higher. But when it came to turnout, who's going to get bigger turnout, or who's going to get turnout in the proper places, it was Trump, because Trump, swung the Rust Belt, which was huge. So, wow, the Democrats have a real opportunity here. I mean, just a stunning opportunity. Will they take advantage of it? Only if Justice Democrats effectively take over. But if it's still left up to the corporate Democrats, the establishment Democrats, there could be a Democratic wave, but it won't be as strong as it could be, and it won't be a block that really lasts. You could have a winning block that lasts if you get Justice Democrats, because the message doesn't ever become unpopular. An establishment Democrat message, over time, people get tired of it. Look at Obama. Oh, yay, we want Obama. And because we don't want any. George W. Bush was the worst, so we want anything but the neocons. Give me the polar opposite of the neocons. People thought they were voting for a social democrat, but they really got a neoliberal centrist corporatist in Obama. And what happened? You would think, hey, out of that anti-Bush fervor, you would get a block of Democrats that doesn't go away. No. In fact, after Obama won, you lost 1,000 seats under Obama because that ideology isn't good enough. Hey, okay, so you're going to stop making endless decisions that are actively shitty and throw us a bone every now and then with a decent policy, but still make some decisions that are shitty. That's not the way to win. You defeat the populist right with the populist left. You don't defeat the populist right with the centrist neoliberal corporatist center. I just said center twice. The centrist center. Yes, Kyle, I believe that's what the center is. Centrist. But 32% for Trump. Every other president in the history of polling is higher than him. So we need to take advantage of this, man. There needs to be a blue wave, and that blue wave needs to be the populist left, not the center left or the corporatists or the neoliberals. We're done with that nonsense. But man, is that telling. I think one of the things that goes into this is Trump, when he ran, he seemed more anti-establishment. He seemed like the anti-establishment candidate. I mean, go back and look at his closing ad. Because his closing ad was actually pretty fucking populist. And he was, we don't want the financial elites controlling the system. The forgotten man will never be forgotten again. As you know, in the final weeks of the election, he was in the Rust Belt railing against TPP and NAFTA, saying Hillary's going to outsource your job. So he ran as a more populist candidate. And so the rough edges and the fucking tweeting came across as like a unique and interesting new thing. Like, oh shit, let's roll the dice on this guy. He might bust up the establishment and make it so that, regular people are being looked out for again. But he hasn't done that. And when a guy like Trump doesn't fight for the people, all of a sudden those tweets start to make him look like the idiot he is. They used to be interesting. Hey, he was bragging a while back about, he made a defense contractor stock drop because he said, I think it was about the F-35 too. He's like, this fucking thing costs $1 trillion, can't even fly. He made their stock drop. That's awesome. Hey, he's fighting the establishment and he's just straight shooting. But when that kind of unhinged shoot from the hip style of tweeting and style of person, when you learn that guy is actually not looking out for you and he's actually a tool of the establishment, when you look at all of his policies, well, then all of a sudden you go from thinking, yeah, he's a fighter on my side, you're thinking he's a fucking lunatic who's a puppet to the deep state and to Goldman Sachs and to Wall Street and to his donors, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's a child. He's a man-child. So it loses its novelty. It loses, its angle of being interesting, and it just becomes a buffoon who you can't wait to get out of office. So there you have it. Donald Trump, 32%. Fucking Obama was 57% at this point. Man, he might drop below 22% even sooner than I imagined.